What's up, good people and Eagle fans? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope everybody's having a great, finally frickin' Friday. The weekend is upon us. We got football tomorrow. We got the Cowboys versus the Bills on Sunday. And I'll be here. My boys will be back here at the house. And some news here, two news. For the Commanders Left Up game, we are going to be tailgating there. And I have talked to my friend with the Commanders, and we have a section, the same section we were in last year, the Joe Boo Sports section, I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it the Joe Boo Sports section, and we have tickets that will be available. And I'll have some more information on that later on today. By now, you have probably heard that the Dallas Cowboys, excuse me, not Dallas Cowboys, that the Chargers have fired Brandon Staley, who should have been fired. Let's be clear here. He sucked. One of those young coaches that they think, you know, we got a whiz kids here that can take care of business and will be the next, you know, Kyle Shanahan or one of the other great young gun coaches, and ended up being an epic failure. We had Kellen Moore. I was actually hoping that Kellen Moore would get the head coaching job. And here's the reason why I say this. Now, you might think I'm crazy. I would love for Kellen Moore to be the head coach of the Chargers, because here's my biggest worry. Dan Quinn, let's be clear here. If you don't see a difference in the Dallas Cowboys defense, this is the best defense that we've had since the 90s. If you don't recognize the job that Dan Quinn has done with the Dallas Cowboys defense, bringing in guys like Al Harris and things, then you really don't know much about football. Because I am old enough to remember when we had Mike Nolan, who was a former head coach, as our defensive coordinator, and how badly our team responded to Mike Nolan. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like, you can look at the Eagles team right now, and you can see that their coordinators, their offensive and defensive coordinators, made a difference for the Eagles. They are not the same team. They are not the same team with the different coordinators. And that's where you look at this and say, yeah, those guys make a difference. And the problem is some people think that the Charger job is a good job, because they say, well, you got Justin Herbert, he's a young gun, you know, quarterback, and a guy who, you know, that's the biggest problem you have. I'm not so sure that he is as good as people say. Sometimes we have guys that have a look, and they say, oh, that guy, he looks like an NFL quarterback, you know? I remember when there was Rob Johnson out there for the Buffalo Bills years ago, and they said, you know, he's got the build, he's got the jaw, he's got the look of an NFL quarterback. And then they looked at a guy like Doug Flutie, who was winning games for him, and they were like, nah, we're going to go back to Rob Johnson in the playoffs because he looks the part. And it was the biggest mistake of Wade Phillips' career in doing so. And so that was the case with Brandon Staley. He looked like that young coach that looked smart, and that they thought was going to be a great hire, and it turns out he wasn't. Now, we got Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore, I would love for him to be the head coach of the Chargers. And I would think and hope and pray that Dan Quinn doesn't have desires to go to just any team to be the head coach. That, you think about the Raiders, for example, although looking at the Raiders right now, Antonio Pierce seems to have found a great gig. But that's not a stable organization. And I will say that for Dan Quinn, this is the perfect job. You've got incredible talent. You've got incredible talent right there to work with. And you have the visibility without the pressures of having to deal with the politics. Don't know why. There's no sun up in the sky. Try to get this thing going. It's not starting. Okay. I think I'm going to have to let's try that again. Sometimes it has a mind of its own. So I would hope and pray that this isn't the last go-round for Dan Quinn. Because Dan Quinn, we ain't the same team without Dan Quinn. Let's be clear here on that one. Without Dan Quinn, the Cowboys defense is ass. Because that guy took the same talent that we had on the field and started turning the team around. Okay, let's try this again. But let's be clear here. If Dan Quinn wants to be a head coach, it ain't going to be a problem. He's going to be getting everybody that's going to be calling for him to be their head coach. Question will be is, will he want it? See if I can get this thing going. Clip is attached. Contact. Santa in his workshop. Set it 0. Let's try this one more time for you good people. Let's see if I need to reboot the computer. Spindle's on. Okay. Guess she's tired after doing the other cut. Well, we'll reboot the system and try it again. I'm Mark Holmes, and I appreciate you. Let's try it again after rebooting the computer. Windows on. It's weird. Don't know. That's my. I don't know. Maybe it's just thinking, and it's just waiting because I'm still looking. We'll give it a minute. There it goes. I was expecting to start right away, but see, it's kind of complex. It's got all this detail that it's got to figure out. So, I was just not patient enough. And that's all I have to say about that. I'll be doing this for, let's speed this up. The next 6 hours and 45 minutes. Here's a little taste. That's okay.